Here we are, 2,000 atmospheres, our first series here for the North American Regional. Thanks so much for joining us, folks. It's not too late. Send your friends the link, twitch.tv/ESL_SC2B. We've got 4 wonderful series to bring you today. Spawning in the bottom left, it's our blue Zerg player playing for Psystorm Gaming. This is Namshar.
His opponent in the top right, in the reds, also representing Psystorm Gaming, is Bioice.
Oh, perfect. What a beautiful start to this game. I'm gonna bring it back to us. But
you want your hotkeys to be working for sure when you're playing a game like this. That would be the bad moment where things are not working out for sure.
Yeah. Always good to err on the side of caution. That's why there's pauses in the game. Makes sense. But let's talk a little bit of predictions here. I mean, we've got two Canadians kind of duking it out here. Who do you think's going to come out on top in this matchup today?
Putting me on the spot. I think maybe I would favor Namshar slightly. Maybe the European bias within is going to resonate here. And also, I feel like historically I've bet Namshar a lot more because I used to ladder on the European ladder, and Namshar was one of the names that, when you see on the loading screen, you're like, all right, I'm gonna lose some MMR here, like it comes with the territory. So yeah, I feel like you tend to like respect a lot, almost like overly respect the people that you do bad against on ladder. And for me, I still remember those days where I would lose to Namshar all the time on the ladder. So I feel like I would pick him as favorite against a lot of people. And there will be no different here. How about you? Any bias in the house?
Well, I always think of Namshar as one of the stronger Zergs. He's always like fallen behind Scarlet, in my opinion, in terms of prominent NA Zergs. But Bioice is definitely no slouch. Has a really decent historical score. I mean, both players hitting way above 50% win rate. But I think Namshar is going to have the advantage. I could see this going 2-1 Namshar, but I would absolutely not be surprised if it were 2-0. They've played against each other a little bit. They've only had 5 games, and Namshar currently has a 3-2 advantage over him. So definitely not a wild prediction one way or the other. I mean, Bioice, like I said, not a slouch of a player. Very good Zerg player, trying to carve out a little bit of a niche for himself in the North American scene. But he's got a lot of work to do if he wants to rise to the levels of like a Scarlet or even an Namshar at that point.
Yeah. Gonna be interesting to see if there's like any difference of styles as well. I know that Namshar, I mean, to be honest, it feels like there's only 2 types of Zerg. The ones that like to make units and the ones that like to make drones. There's almost like not so much in between. I would guess like at the absolute top, players are so good at like mixing in both. But other than that, you can usually say whether one player leans one way or the other. So for Namshar, I feel like it probably would be the drones and like, the big macro game, like keep on expanding. But for Bioice, I'm not sure. And also there is always the dynamic of like the head-to-head. What do you think the opponent is going to be weaker against? And the map to take in consideration, or even like the mood of the day. Because sometimes, like you might be a player that likes to play kind of like greedier, on the greedier side of things in most matchups, but maybe it doesn't apply in Mirror because you have to make units earlier and like be aggressive and stuff. So it's going to be very interesting to see who does what in regards to that. Do we even have any cheese here to throw in there? Because we saw some cheese earlier.
It doesn't look like it. Namshar's got a drone out at the natural right now, and it looks like Bioice has a drone at the ramp. So it looks like
I meant in general in the series.
Oh!
But I love you're going like right into it. You're like, nah, there's no cheese.
Oh, I don't know. That's very possible. I don't know. Like, I even think about, like, I don't have a really good, I don't have a good look. It looks like we're going to restart the entire game, maybe. Well, that's why we got referees, folks. Love that. I don't have a really good read on Bioice, what his overall demeanor is when he takes an approach on ZVZ, but like Namshar, I agree with you. I always think of Namshar as a very macro-oriented player, likes to build drones, likes to get into the roach wars in the center of the game, and I think that it might be where he is more comfortable. And, I mean, does a really good job of building those macro skills and kind of securing his opportunity to win longer form games, which I think is not surprising in any stretch of the imagination. But I think Namshar will be able to thrive. If this goes into a macro game, I think this definitely will be his game to win.
I was referring to some of my old games against him as well on ladder, and like I don't remember those as being, him spamming like roaches and then just getting like maybe some hydralisks and then going for like timings with Ling Roach or whatever. I remember them as him being one of these Zergs that was really, really good at going for hive tech, taking multiple expansion, trying to rush to 8, 10 extractors and then getting a lot of gas. And Ultralisks was actually a unit he was really, really good with, and that was back when the meta was just getting like a lot of Immortals, Zealot, and Archons, and then trying to fight a lot and push before there is any sort of Broodlords and stuff. This guy would max out so fast on Ultras, and then he would just like catch you in a sandwich in the middle of the map where the creep was spread out everywhere. Yeah, it seems like, I'm happy to be casting some StarCraft with so many of these players that I see. I just remember how many times I used to lose to them, and like I get like, I get a little bit sad in a way, remembering how much they used to wreck me. But no, it's pretty cool to see those guys still active like years later and still relevant in the scene.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, the experience side of things for you, like that is like an immeasurable advantage for you just as like a caster and a commentator for StarCraft. But I didn't even think about it from the side of like, oh yeah, he beat me, and oh yeah, I lost this like really close game to this person, and
yeah.
It's like, it's a double-edged sword, unfortunately.
I see the names in the groups and I'm like, I used to lose to everyone. There is not one of these guys I had a positive record against. This is ridiculous. Like,
well, I've never been above Masters 3, so I would absolutely for me to take a game off of anybody would just be like the celebration of the century for me. So I get it. Looks like we are just about ready to rock and roll, folks. Thanks so much for being patient. We appreciate that. Again, sometimes stuff needs to be fixed, and it's good that we get the opportunity to do it. So we are back in here. You didn't miss anything wild. I did technically spoil the fact that we were going down to naturals, but I guess I took his question quite literally.
We'll see. I'll tell you what, if they don't cheese in the next games, I'll commend you. I'll be like, all right, well done again, just like the 60%. You were absolutely right.
I'd rather be lucky than good, Todd. My dad has instilled that in me from an early age. Rather be lucky.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. I hear that very often. I would rather be good, but to be honest, I consider myself decent at a number of things. I do realize it probably would be better to be lucky.
What is it? I told that to somebody at one point, and they responded with like, "Oh, well, yeah, you're right, but being good makes you luckier." And it's like, "Oh, okay. Create your own luck." I like that. I respect it.
That's one way to see it. All right. Just mirror match so far. A little bit more gas on Namshar's side, not to be read too much into. And it's really from the moment, the bailing list goes down, unless somebody wants to be crazy and not drop down a bailing list. But we're going to be seeing things really start to be spiced up. You think we're going to see long games here?
I think we're going to get a lot of mid-game timings. Right now, especially on the ladder, the 4 or 5 minute Zergling flood is incredibly popular, and it's incredibly powerful. I mean, we saw a little bit of that in Young Yakov's play, where you get to about the 345 mark and you just dump 14 lings on the production tab, and then you just begin that relentless aggression. I mean, you get those Baneling nests out at the front wall, and North American servers got a reputation for being incredibly aggressive, and I mean, this is why, because a lot of people like to take advantage of that, and it works really well. So Bioice is going to try and at least start protecting towards that. He's going to grab that evolution chamber up at the front wall here to create a little less surface space for Namshar to work with. And I think this is where we're going to start deviating a little bit. It looks like Namshar wants to drone it out, but Bioice might be thinking something different.
Yeah, we'll be curious to see like what styles, right? It's like I talked about the level of aggression, but also what units is the choice for both. We saw earlier today Young Yakov opting to go for the Spire as like his main style in the one game that he didn't absolutely try and cheese his opponent in. So is either of those players feeling like that? Namshar for a long time against Protoss was a Mutalist guy, where he loved to go into Mutas and just kind of base race. As soon as you move out, he just counters you with Ling Muta, wrecks your economy instantly, and then just wins flat out from there. So once a Muta guy, perhaps always a Muta guy. I mean, obviously he's capable of playing any style, but really curious if he would try something like that here, which so far it seems like not. It's going to be +1 missiles starting on both sides, unless it's the absolute trick on these players.
Well, Roach Warren's going to go down for both players. That's not a full wall off for Bioice, but it is a really nice choke. There's a couple of Banelings that need to hang out by that if Namshar wants to get extra heavy with his Zergling production. But right now, it's a little bit of a dance here at the third base location. A couple of Banelings going to get a really nice connection here. 4 drones off the head. That's actually a pretty nice pickup for those 2 Banelings. But both players are going to play this a little more reserved. It is going to be a +1 missile for both sides. The lair finally starting up here for Namshar. It's going to be a little bit more delayed for Bioice. Namshar's going to try and find a little bit of return damage here as well. The Ling's going to wiggle their way in and actually get a decent amount of damage, picking up 3 drones. It's not an exact exchange, but it's at least enough to keep it within the margin of error.
Well, that was really cool with the Queen perfectly tucked in here behind the minerals. Bioice needs to saturate the gases on his expo here. It's taking a very long time to do that because he's being kept busy at the third base. See, he still hasn't done it. 24 on minerals. Come on, man. You got all the gold in the world. You need some lumber. Warcraft 3 style. Otherwise, you can't make anything.
Wait, what game were we watching again? I can't remember.
In Warcraft 3, gold and lumber.
Oh, there we go.
Oh. Namshar, though, on the other side, look at this. Already 4 gases. He's taking number 5 and 6. And it's going to be much easier for him to transition into more gas-heavy units if you wanted to go into Hydralisks, Lurkers, or that Spire. Yeah. It's still possible.
I was going to say, I keep waiting for that Spire to go back in the back lines of that main base, but it seems like it might just stay with the ground army here, so might have a quicker transition into Hydras and Lurkers. He is going to pick up +2 missile, grabbing Glue Reconstitution as well. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, grabbing that 5th and 6th gas, well, and that could just be a mind game as well, right? Namshar maybe takes that 5th and 6th gas, has other plans for it, but maybe sends a different message to Bioice, seeing the 5th and 6th going, wait a minute, maybe this is going to be a Muta play. But seems like, again, right now, both players are just going to keep working things out. Bioice is going to get a decent scout here with the Overseer as well.
Bioice with some sick macro. He's actually ahead by 10 supply. Feels like this is not really supposed to happen. A lot of the time when like these 2 players face off here, up until like very, very late in the game, like maybe like 140, 150 supply, there will be almost no difference. Okay, he did catch up just now on Namshar, but I think Bioice is about to kind of take off again a little bit. Because they're still very even. Walker counts 66 on both sides. That's 3 bases fully saturated on each side. You know, Snoots used to make that joke of like, you go up to 66 drones, you saturate 3 bases, and then choo-choo, you just make units. And you go for it.
Oh, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. I hope he's doing well. We've got ourselves a Dropper Lord morphed in. It is going to be Roach Drop. So this is going to be more harassment focused rather than just blowing up individual mineral lines. And Namshar is going to miss that scout, at least for the time being. I think this is going to be able to get in undetected, but that's going to be a big focus over on the right-hand side of the map. Roach Ravager attacking on both sides here. Seems to be a little bit more Ravager count for Namshar at this particular moment, but I think Bioice is going to have an opportunity to push on forward, but he's got Roaches just sitting in the back there. They're taking their government-mandated break, Todd. This isn't the time.
Yeah, they need to stay in action. The Roach drop in the main, let's see how much that can do. Namshar's not reacting quite yet. If that kills, like, let's say 8 drones here, that would be a disaster. Even losing the Queen would be really bad, because then you're starting to miss some inject. But Bioice is not microing it right now. Okay, that's a huge mistake. Could have actually done quite a bit more here. Tunneling Claws and Burrow about to complete on Namshar, and he's maxed out. He's well caught up in supply, and he's the one going for his own timing now with a lot of Ravagers in his army. He's got 6 Ravagers to 1.
I mean, this is 10 seconds where he's got a +1 carapace upgrade advantage over his opponent, so Namshar needs to try and fight this out while he's got the advantage here. Bile's raining down on both sides. Bioice allowing a few of these to connect with his Roach army here, but now the advantage is going to slip into Bioice's favor here. He's going to have defender's advantage, but Namshar able to push forward here. This hatchery is going to be a little bit exposed, is going to become a target here really, really soon. But a couple of those vials going to go down and damage those larva eggs. That's really important. Picks off a couple of those incoming roaches. And now it looks like this hatchery will fall. Namshar's going to be able to capitalize on an aggressive moment. He might be able to get more.
Yeah, both players on 2-1 upgrades, but there's just too many roaches here from Namshar. Yes, 35 to 21 currently. That fourth base will fall. And behind this, Namshar has his own fourth base. He already took one of the gases from there, transfer some drones. His economy and production is going to be far superior, and I think he might be able to just close things out from there.
Yeah, he had the tunneling claw. Roaches coming in disguise, and they were able to assist as well. Namshar, though, with a very nice mid-game timing. Cleans up game number 1.
Pig's favorite type of game. Roach on roach violence. That's all you need sometimes, Roshi.
I am a big fan of the roach battle in the mid game. That's ZVZ, as crazy as it can be. There's just something very comforting about getting into just roach v roach, and it can be really, really fun to make different tactical things happen throughout that game. So if we got another game that kind of went into that setup between these two, I wouldn't be disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see some hive play, more units than just the roaches. Personally, as cool as those games can be with players trying to outmaneuver one another, I've always been a big fan of the longer games. Big supply. Show me that big supply. I want to be able to say the line when there's a big gap between the players. And I want to see maxed out armies that are not just roaches. Gee, give me anything else.
Anything else? Ugh. Don't worry. Don't worry. It's all fine. Okay. So, don't worry. It's all good. Yeah, Discord sometimes does weird things for me, so we're all good. The good news is OBS, just fine. So game number 2, gonna go into Hardwire. Yeah, go. There we go. I mean, I like Hardwire. I think Hardwire is a good macro map, especially for Zerg. And this, I mean, could easily just give us more roach versus roach action. But I would love the opportunity to even go even more late game. Let's get into lurker play. Lurker play can be a lot of fun on Hardwire, and I think these two players could absolutely make it happen. But I think Bioice has got to find a way to maybe steal himself a little bit more in the mid game here. Namshar really took advantage of that timing and just kind of pushed his opponent over, made it look not very difficult.
Asking for some lurker action. You know what? That's too reasonable. I want to see some broodlords, Roshi. That's what I call it now. Let's see some broodlords.
Okay. All right. I will think fond thoughts about Broodlords here as we boot up game number 2. We're on Hardwire. Top right-hand corner. It's our red Zerg player for Psystorm Gaming. This is Bioice.
His opponent in the blue from Sweden but lives in Canada lands is Namshar. I gotta say, Canada's a lovely place. Been there a few times for StarCraft events, actually.
Oh.
Loved every single time. I think it was Toronto and Montreal is the 2 places where I've been to a bunch of times.
Those are the 2 places that I've been to. Both are really pretty.
They're amazing. Amazing places, right?
I don't know. You go to Montreal and they like speak this different language. I've never heard it before. It's crazy.
Actually, Montreal was really weird for me because it looks like a North American city where everything's in French. So it feels like you're in this weird dream, like, you know, like it feels a little surreal for some reason.
So now is the French that's spoken in Montreal kind of like French that's spoken in other like parts of the country where it's like a little bit different, but enough that like, oh, it's the French language, but it's Canadian French, or is it just like French?
Yeah, no, you can understand fairly easily, but there is for sure a lot of like different words and stuff, and like a very strong accent as well. I don't know what I could compare it to for like USA. Maybe if you would go like to a state where they speak a little differently, maybe like Mississippi or whatever. I mean, I don't know America that well, but you know, where there would be an accent like in the South or something.
Oh yeah.
Then you would struggle a bit more to understand certain words that they use. Maybe that would be similar to that.
I'm always told that as like an upper Midwesterner, that we have like a little bit of an accent. It's the yeah, sure, you betcha. Oh, don't you know? Like, have you ever seen Fargo before?
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah, that's.
Anyway, you don't sound like that at all, though.
I definitely don't, but I do have a lot of friends that they lay heavy into the oh yeah, oh sure, yeah, oh you betcha. And it's funny because like sometimes the best comedy is just truth, and I listen to a little bit of Fargo and it's like, oh no, it hurts. It hurts because it's true.
If you want to do it, can you do that accent?
I can, but I have to like actively think about it. Like,
Yeah.
My brain hurts way
I
too
grew
much.
up in the south of France, so if I want, I can do the French accent from like the south, which it sounds really funny. But yeah, I don't think I could explain it to you.
Oh, that's fair.
It's pretty cool. All right. Let's go. Let's talk about the game a little bit here.
I
We got the
suppose.
third base going down and Bailing Nest at about the same time. And I guess if Namshar thinks he's just better mechanically, which is kind of what it looked like last game, he might just do the same. Just go into roaches, be like, all right, I'm better mechanically. I'm going to have a bit more supply. As we all know, if you have 50 roaches against 49 roaches, you're going to win the fight by a landslide. So maybe he just relies on his better mechanics, attacks when he has 180 supply, and then just wins again.
Well, I'm trying to keep an eye on how this is transpiring because it seems as if like Namshar was just like a split second behind on everything. A split second behind on speed. Oh, this is actually going to be really good. Enough of what I had to say. Picking off this queen would be incredibly huge. Yeah, that's a huge amount of damage. Even if these lings get picked up by the banelings, I mean, picking up a queen for the exchange is incredibly good.
Yeah, the lair started on the natural for some reason for Bioice, by the way.
Oh.
And +1's going to be really delayed because he only now goes for the Evo Chamber and a Roach Horn. I wonder if there is any chance he does anything different, right? Because he's kind of rushing the lair, but he's not going to be able to produce like roaches for a while. So thinking probably not Nidus. And also he took the gases kind of late compared to the amount of drones that he has. So it's not Mutas either. So maybe he just wants to rush Glial Reconstitution. If we see, look at the production tab. Look away from the supply for once. I know it's going to be hard, but look at the production tab. Lair and Roach Horn are going to finish at about the same time. Maybe he's rushing Glial Reconstitution to get on the map quicker with speed roaches and just outmaneuver him.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. I mean, +1 roach, fast roach timing is definitely not uncommon in the ZVZ meta. And if Bioice is concerned here, this might be cause for more concern. A good amount of lings here deal a little bit of damage, but Bioice does a nice job of mitigating the response. But can he mitigate the banelings? Oh, one baneling actually crashing into eggs. That's a bit of a misplay, but I think these banelings might get a little bit better here. Good, nice split, running things around. Only 4 going down. That's not too bad here. But Bioice is actually just going to go into a Spire, Todd. It's all a ruse.
And it was scouted.
Oh,
Banelings flew there. Yeah, if Namshar just looks there, he's like, he's not going to think, he's not going to be like, this is a Spore, right? No, it's a Spire. Namshar is spamming Zerglings. And he's going to try to flood Bioice completely here. He's getting Ravagers as well. Against Banelings, it's scary, though, to have that many Lings. If Bioice can buy a little bit of time with his own Roaches and Banes, see, he's producing a lot himself right now. He's not making any more drones. He's just Roaches. There is 4 Elaser Overlords.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the right choice here. Namshar has to act while he still has the army advantage. It's 64-38. Todd, we're back to the supply. Here come the roaches. 1 spine crawler to rule them all. Here come the Ravagers as well. Those are going to knock down the spine crawler. They will not have died in vain, though. But can Bioice continue to hold on here? I mean, he's getting pushed all the way back into the corner. The third base is going to be exposed. Good Biles connect with the eggs. That's going to limit the amount of roaches that get built in. And all he's doing is buying time for mutas, but he doesn't have any money. He can build 1 muta. That's it.
Yeah, and Not gonna have any lava either to work with. The third base is gonna fall momentarily. Namshar just absolutely swarming Bioice. Don't you ever go for a Spire against me, nerd.
You wanted to Muta play? I was forged in it, born. I was making Mutas long before you were even a toddler building Zerglings.
I didn't see a Broadlord until I was a boy.
There it is. Ah, this is starting to look very convincingly won here by the blue Zerg. He's going to bully out the rest of the roaches. GG. Well, there's the GG called. Namshar very quickly making work of his opponent. 2-0.